I'm not knotting the 22 karat gold plated thread. I'm making 2 stitches. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and make 3. And then I clip it underneath. The reason why is this is not regular thread. It's kind of like stitching with a little wire, and it doesn't work its way out the way regular thread will. Also, I will be coating the back of it with something called Nori Paste, which is a special kind of embroiderer's glue to keep the threads from working their way out. And this is pretty typical. If you watch how old couture dresses are made, they stitch them and they use this special paste on the back of it to keep it from coming undone. So I'm working with the darker gold color, the burnished gold. It's quite a bit harder to get a hold of. They don't produce that much of it per year. Still really inexpensive. I think it's about $7, $7.95 a spool. Oh. Oops. The gold-plated thread is, of course, waxed. And I'm holding the thread underneath, running it through my fingers, and then holding it and pulling it. Let's see. Because I'm using 2 thicknesses of thread, sometimes I have to mess with the thread to get both threads to lie flat on the surface. I really like satin stitching. Satin stitching and surface couching make up the vast majority of the stitches I use. I also like cutwork. So here's an example of cutwork. It's a check glass pearl, and then it's ringed with some 2mm rough pearl, which is also, let's see how I get it in the sunlight. And once again, when I get to the end of my thread, I make 2 little stitches and cut the thread underneath. So a lot of the photographs I take of this, it comes out looking almost cherry red. It is a true rust red. It is the exact shade of madder red in my Tudor Tailor book. So I lined it up and it looks exactly like that, the color in the oh. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk and do threads at the same time. So yeah, double thickness, just standard knot, and now I'm stitching as close as I can get to the gold cord, which I couched on a couple days ago. I want to cover the pattern completely. I don't want any of the pattern to show. But because I have this pattern here, I actually can get away with fewer stitches than if I were doing the satin stitch directly over the rest. So it means it goes a little bit faster. the reason why I did the iron-on pattern was so that anyone at any level could have something that is so phenomenal. You just cut out the pattern on your desktop cutter, and then you iron it on. You frame up the underskirt, and then you start stitching with these real gold threads, which are relatively inexpensive. So each, I talked about this a little bit, each 200-meter spool is about $7 or $8, kind of depending on the exchange rate. And then for 500 meters of the real gold cord, the non-tarnishing is currently $206 for 500 yards. And 500 yards will do about 3 of these skirts and sleeve sets. So here I'm using it, I'm couching it around the shapes. Here I'm using that cord in nice parallel bands. Here I'm using it for this woven pattern, and then down here I have braided it. I've also braided it over here on the side. Not sure if the camera shows that or not. Once again, I apologize for my voice. This is allergy season here in Oklahoma, and I have some allergies, so it'll make me a little bit stuffy. So almost done with this leaf shape. This pattern is called the Lady Ann, and it is available if you want to do it yourself. Just send me a message. So I'm going back in and filling, then I'm going way over here to the corner to do my last two little stitches, and then I cut it with my handy dandy embroidery scissors that my sister gave me. My sister's given me a lot of really great gifts, including this really awesome little kitty cat who's sitting just out of frame. Now that's the gift that keeps on giving. All right, waxing. So you want your wax to coat the thread, and you don't want the wax to be so aggressive that it pulls the plates off the thread. I have some silk thread that is really very, very delicate, and this wax that I love actually rips the plates off that one. All right, so now I'm switching. I'm going to be doing some surface couching. Oops. It doesn't happen that often, but I do catch on the pearls sometimes. Once again, I am really holding this thread here in the bottom, underneath the embroidery frame. And that bell is my kitty cat. My spoiled, slightly elderly 14-year-old. Oop, see, it caught on the ouches. So the ouches, these jeweled buttons, come from trulyhats.net. Be aware that if you're going to use them next to real gold, it will show that they are not real gold. On some of my personal pieces, I go ahead and get some 24 karat gold plate, and I go ahead and make them match, or silver. So she does like an antique kind of bronze look, and it really doesn't go that well with the real gold. These aren't too bad because they're mostly jewels, and there's not a lot of, here you can just barely see the metal, there's not a lot of metal showing. But her Catherine Parr ouches, I have to completely gild them to match. So surface couching, this is 90% of what I do. Now, you'll notice I'm switching from top to bottom. That just has to do with kind of how it's easier for me to work or easier for me to see. Here I've already satin stitched these ends down. Here I'm using, on the woven pattern in the body, I'm using triple strands. And when you use triple strands of it, you actually cannot pull it to the back, pull the cord to the back. You have to just stitch them down, put like dozens and dozens of stitches on them to keep them from pulling loose. I'll explain that later. I'll do a video on that. But when you have 3 strands, it just makes too big a hole in the silk. So I can't pull the backs through. That's too bad. Especially where I have, like here where there are 9 strands all kind of converging at once. Kitty cat is trying to get right next to me, and my stitching box is in the way. Oh, here she comes. I don't know if you can see her. Yep, that's it. It's pretty simple, just hours of doing this. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll be doing another one next Thursday, and maybe some in between. We'll see. I'm going to finish up this in the next couple of days. So I'll try to get another few short videos of me stitching on this before it goes away to its new home. That makes me sad because then I don't get to see them again, except occasionally in pictures. I hope now that COVID's over and people are attending Renaissance festivals and conventions again, that I'll get to see pictures of people enjoying this, my beautiful art. So far, it's been a little disheartening. I've created a bunch of these beautiful things, and they've just disappeared into private collections. It's like, I want to see people wear them. So, all right. Thanks a bunch for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.